So, before I psych myself out of doing this for the 30th time, let me just get started. So, I'm going to be telling the story of getting pregnant at 18 and then getting pregnant again at 20. So, in 2017, in October, I met my now husband, Joe, and I met him in October and was pregnant in November and got pregnant the next month. That sounds awful, but it's okay. So, me and Joe actually met on Twitter. He reached out to me first and everything, and I ignored him for a while. Would blow him off and stuff. And then finally my friend and I were at her apartment and we were bored, and so I texted him, or I replied to him or something, and he came over, and literally from that night on, we've never spent a day apart besides when he's working. Like, that's it. But in November I got pregnant, and then in December I turned 19, and our birthdays are 7 days apart. So I turned 19 on December 10th, and then on December 17th, which is Joe's birthday, I just had this feeling, which I had actually tested before, took pregnancy tested before, and they were all obviously negative, but I just had this feeling. I just felt off. So I was getting ready to go to his house for his birthday, or to his friend's house for his birthday, and I just decided that before I went, I was going to buy a pregnancy test and take it just in case. So I do. I go to Walmart and get a test and go to the bathroom and take it, and it immediately was positive, which I actually wasn't scared. I wasn't afraid or anything. I actually was very excited and happy about it, and I guess that's kind of naive maybe at so young, but I had no complaints. I was excited. I mean, there were certain things that I was scared about, but for the most part I was really happy. So I drive to Joe's friend's house, which is like an hour away, and I get there, and actually I think I called my friend Kaylee and FaceTimed her and told her before I ever even got there, which she was dating Joe's friend at the time, and so Joe was around, so he kind of had a feeling that something was going on. And whenever I finally got there, I go upstairs, which is where Joe and his friend were, and I just put the test in his back pocket, the positive pregnancy test in his back pocket, and I told him, or actually he just grabbed it, and yeah, he just looked at it and handed it to his friend and walked outside, and I was scared because why did he react that way, and followed him. I followed him downstairs, and he was crying. He was so happy, or, you know, we were naive. Not that babies are a bad thing, but we were excited. We were scared about certain things, but we were mostly excited. And yeah, my parents, his parents, nobody really, there was no negative reactions out of anybody at all for Hartley, our first daughter. There was nothing. No negative comments, no nothing. I'm sure that it took people a little bit of adjusting, but nobody was hateful about it or rude or anything. At all. Ever. And Hartley, well, we actually got an apartment at the end of that month. We got our first apartment together at the end of that month. And then a few months later, we moved in with my mom for just a little bit, and then got our own house, which is where we lived when Hartley was born. She was born in August of 2018 when I was 19 years old. Whole nother story, but she was 8 pounds and 15 ounces and 21.5 inches long. She's a big baby. Then comes April of this month, of this year, and I got pregnant again. Still currently pregnant, but I got pregnant again with our second daughter, and this time, like, I just knew. Once again, I knew way before I even missed my period this time. I guess maybe because I had been pregnant before, I don't know, but I just knew. And Joe didn't believe me. He wouldn't listen to me. He thought I was crazy and just wasting money on pregnancy tests, but I knew. And so I kept buying the First Response or Clearblue, which I think it's First Response, the one that reads your test or can pick up HCG levels early before your missed period. I kept buying those and taking them, and a lot of them were negative at first. And then I got a positive, and so I actually made an appointment with our clinic here, and our test there was negative, and I was so confused and everything, because like, I was getting positives at home, but I was also getting negatives, and then go to the clinic and I get a negative. And so after I left the clinic, I actually went and bought more pregnancy tests to see what they would say, and they were all positive. I had no more negatives after I got the negative at the clinic. So I rescheduled with the clinic to get it again, because you have to have proof of pregnancy and everything for insurance purposes. And so went back, and I actually was far enough along for them to do an ultrasound and everything, and I got to see, I was alone. I got to see her. I'm pretty sure Joe was at work, or maybe, I think he was out of town working. So I actually got to see her. Sorry, somebody came upstairs. But, I was talking about Joe. Yeah, he definitely did not think that I was actually pregnant. Like, so he was actually shocked. I was not, because I knew. And honestly, the reactions of everybody the first time with Hartley was the same this time. Nobody had anything negative to say. We're grown, we're married. Nobody had anything negative to say or anything. This pregnancy, the only thing really with this pregnancy is that it's just been harder on me physically, but that's literally the only difference so far. I have 6 weeks left. She's due January 27th, and hopefully the rest of this pregnancy will be easy and everything will go smooth. So yeah, that's the end of my very uninteresting 18 and pregnant and then again at 20 story.